2023 presidential aspirant in Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us in the conversation, Victor.
Yeah, thank you, News Central, for having me. Thank you,
It's good.
Africa. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. It's good to have young people, despite all odds, coming out to vie for presidential aspiracies. Now, as it stands, there is a lot of politicking going on already, and some names are beginning to emerge, as you well know. And you seem to be participating as a youth. Do you think there are obstacles to youth participation?
Okay, first of all, I want to say, as of today, Nigerians are clamoring for young and new visionary leaders. I prefer to call them new visionary leaders than to just call them youth, right? Because for over 48 years now, we have dwelled with these old, incompetent leaders or politicians in Nigeria. They have been running the affair of the country, and for obvious reason, the country is not going forward. The country is not progressing. Rather, the country is retrogressing. So, for us to solve this problem of corruption, poverty, and insecurity, we need new visionary leaders to handle the affairs of Nigeria. And not just because I am participating, not just because I'm a political candidate, right? But it's because the people of Nigeria are tired of these old, incompetent politicians that have been in the system for over 48 years.
But Victor, Victor, sorry to butt in there. What obstacles do you think you're going to face participating in politics and aspiring for the 2023 presidential elections?
Okay, now basically as of today, the major obstacle I would say is still the direct and indirect primaries, right? Because we know that if they are going to run the indirect primaries, these same old incompetent politicians are still going to manipulate the primaries election to make sure that they actually becomes the flag bearer of the two major political parties, which is APC and PDP, right? So that is why we are pushing on the government, we're pushing on the President Buhari, we're pushing on the Senate to make sure that they approve the direct primaries, that we allow Nigerians, not godfathers, Nigerians, to actually elect their candidates that will represent them during the 2023 election. I think that is one of the challenges that we are facing as of today. Then two, I would say media, the press have not actually been fair, because we see a lot of TV stations, maybe exempted to News Central. They actually give more airtime, more platform. So some of these old, incompetent politicians that we know that they have tried and they have failed, right? But I want to encourage that our press, our TV stations, our radio stations should involve and start engaging young politicians, young Nigerians who have aspiration to run for 2023 and hear their vision and hear their idea, rather than just featuring people because we feel they have a name. But we've tried them. A lot of them are very, very, very corrupt. Sorry to say, a lot of these old politicians are very, very corrupt, because corruption is what gives birth to poverty and insecurity. So we need to talk with young visionary leaders like myself, right? So
now, talking about your ambition, Victor, to be president of Nigeria is quite a Herculean task. Africa's biggest economy, the most populous black nation in the world. We do know how serious politics is here. What informed your decision to want to run for the highest office in the land? And under what political party would you be running?
Okay, so what informed me is that I was born in Nigeria, right? This year I'm 40. So let me say for over 39 years, I have lived in Nigeria. I knew when Nigeria was working. I can tell you that as of today, Nigeria is not working the way it used to work in the 80s, right? And right now, we are faced with the greatest challenge of our life. We cannot allow the same set of people that have been leading this country for the past 40 years to keep on leading this country, and the country is not developing. So you need people like myself that have innovative ideas to come into the system and correct this system. As we speak today, there are over 120 million Nigerians that are living below the poverty level. You understand what I'm saying? There are over 14 million Nigerian children that are out of school. We have over 40 million young Nigerians that are capable to work, that are unemployed. As we speak today, Nigeria is the capital of the poorest nation on earth. Nigeria is the second most corrupt country. So tell me, and this is our future. If Nigeria, anything happened to this country today, we in our 40s and in our 30s and in our 20s, we will suffer it the most. Now, these persons, these old incompetent politicians who want to lead this country have enjoyed the benefit of Nigeria. And also they have embezzled a lot of money.
So, Victor, you haven't answered my question about the political platform. And yes, what would you also do differently?
Yes. So
what political party?
First of all, I want to use this media to say I have decided to run on the platform of People Democratic Party, which is PDP. By February, I'll be doing my official declaration. That will be a year to the presidential election. Now, what informed my candidacy, like I told you, is the problems Nigerians are facing today.
Okay, talking about these problems, Victor, you mentioned the platform. Talking about these problems, let's take economy, for example. What major strategy are you going to employ to boost Nigeria's economy?
Youth empowerment. I'm going to make sure that over 4 million Nigerian youths within the space of the first 6 months in the office gain employment. And this employment is going to be targeted at their skills, right? We're going to employ them based on their skills. And we're not just leaving them, we are going to train them. And after training them, we'll give them gainful employment. And they are going to work for us. And we hope to do that in the next 3 years, to be able to at least employ over 20 million young Nigerians. And with that, we'll be able to boost Nigeria economy. We'll be able to revamp Nigeria economy. If you don't know, there are over 30,000 young Nigerians that have left Nigeria to either Canada, UK, or US, or even Australia, right? And these are people who are supposed to be working here in Nigeria, making income for themselves. So that is why my first approach will be how to engage Nigerian youth and get them employed. We are going to train them, we are going to empower them, and we're going to employ them. And when we do that, they also
employ them where, Victor? Employ them where?
Okay, we are going to use them for road construction. We are going to be building factories. We are going to be building.
So more like manual labor. Is that what you're saying, Victor?
Skill employment. So there are those that will be trained for agriculture. There are those that will be trained for like hairdressing. There are those that will be trained for textile made. There are those that will be trained for transport. Those that will be trained for construction. Those that will be trained for logistics. There's a lot to be trained about. Myself, I am a fintech expert. Not because I studied fintech in university, but that was the skill I discovered for myself. And today, I run one of the biggest fintech companies in the whole of Africa called ePay, right? We have millions of young Nigerians that have skills, but the government have failed to invest in the skill of young Nigerians. Young Nigerians are the most talented, skillful youth on earth, as you can see today.
But Victor, do you think or believe that young people are politically apathetic? That means not being interested in politics. Do you believe that?
No, no. The problem is that they are fed up of these same old incompetent politicians giving promises and not fulfilling their promises. In fact, one of the reasons why I am running is to inspire the Nigerian youth. I will tell you today, the Nigerian youth are highly disappointed at the way these so-called old incompetent politicians have led this country, right? But I know that my candidacy have been able to inspire young Nigerians to believe in Nigeria, right? So the problem is not the young Nigerians. The problem is these old incompetent politicians that have embezzled Nigeria's fund. They have brought in corruption to Nigeria. And corruption will always give birth to two things: poverty and insecurity. And that is why you see today, Nigeria as a country, we are faced with poverty and insecurity. But my candidacy, as soon as I become the president of Nigeria, will be able to address the poverty and the insecurity challenges that we are facing today. Nigeria was not like this in 30 years ago, 35 years ago, 25 years ago. We just found out that in the space of 16 years, we found out that Nigeria has lost her glory. But I tell you, my candidacy is going to bring it back. And Nigerian youth will be once again proud of Nigeria. And that is why you found out that there are a lot of youth, that's what I was trying to say, a lot of youth today are moving from Nigeria to Europe, to America, to Canada, even to Asia, even to Australia, right? Because they don't believe in these politicians. Because these politicians don't have vision. They are not visionary leaders. They are just there to embezzle and steal the money and property of Nigeria. We have tried them on all platforms, both as governors, both as president, and they have failed woefully, right? So I want us to understand the new narrative.
All right, Victor, apart from these issues now, how important is representative politics at this point, especially for those at the grassroots? Let's have seen youths at the local government level. How important is representative politics at this point?
So that is why I'm running under the platform of PDP, People's Democratic Party. Because as we speak today, they are willing to have young people to come into the party and build what we call the new PDP. And these young people are coming up with visions and ideas, right? So we're reaching out to the grassroots. I'm not just running alone. I have young visionary leaders or new visionary leaders like myself that also will be running for governorship, a Senate and House of Assembly, even down to the local government chairman, right? So we are coming into PDP in our numbers. I could tell you as of today, we have spoken with a lot of our young entrepreneurs, and we are ready to take that, our entrepreneurship, innovative idea into government. And I will tell you just the way it is. You will start seeing that Nigeria local government system will start working. Because that is one of the
Victor, don't you think you'll be stifled by the powers that be? We know the issue of godfatherism. You're going towards a party that have a lot of political big heads. So don't you think you'll be stifled by these people?
No. My focus is on Nigerian people. You could go to the streets. The people of Nigeria are clamoring for new visionary leaders, young visionary leaders. The only way these godfathers were able to manipulate the system, it was when Nigerians were not aware of what is going on. As of today, Nigerians are aware. If you take the study of what happened during the NSAS, that is an indication. That's the cry of Nigerians, especially the young Nigerians and the women. They are crying for new visionary leaders like myself. I receive phone calls every day. I receive emails. I receive text messages to say to me, we are solidly behind you. So the time of godfatherism has failed. It has come to an end. In fact, let me tell you the truth. 2023 election is very, very important to Nigerians because Nigerians are ready to cast their vote for young visionary leaders not these so-called old, incompetent politicians that have failed them. 2023
Okay,
election
Victor, you seem to harp a lot on if you emerge president of Nigeria, you'll be president of all Nigerians, not president of the youth. And a lot of problems in this country is that a lot of political parties devoid of ideology. There's a lot of personality politics. And you've been saying you will do this. The young, you think the problems with Nigeria lies with old people. How are you going to make a difference? And what can we do to debate issues and not have personality politics like we've been discussing since?
Okay, first, one thing we need to understand is that the young people of Nigeria today, we make up 80% of Nigeria's population. And out of that 80%, about 60% or 75% of them are jobless, have not been engaged. If we look at what we are talking about today, we are not just talking about a country that is working. Nigeria is not working. So any person that is coming in as the president must start with providing solution. Now, my candidacy is bettered out of providing solution. And the first solution, which is the fundamental solution, is to look at the working class, which still covers the young Nigerians. Now, I am not saying that I'm going to neglect the older generation, but in terms of population, we have more younger Nigerians that are suffering from the incompetency of the older generation. So we need to start from solving the problem, right? And I tell you the truth, when the younger generation are able to work, are engaged, when they are employed, they will take care of the older generation. Everywhere around the world, any country that you see today that is working, 80% of their workforce is from the younger generation, especially in Nigeria, that our demography has a peculiar population of younger people, right? So it's not an issue about me trying to neglect the older generation. No, it's an issue of solving today's problem. You know, Nigeria today's problem, there are two: poverty and insecurity, right? And for us to solve these two problems, we need to engage our younger citizens, right? And once the younger citizens are engaged, they will take care of the older citizens. Now, I could say it the way it is. The older generation have enjoyed Nigeria. Take my word. Take my word. They have enjoyed Nigeria long enough. Our current president today started earning from Nigerian government from the age of 24. And he's over 80, even if he's lying.
Okay. All right, Victor, you've listed so much of your visions and ambitions, which, of course, all the heads have also talked about. I mean, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, talked about. And let me finish. I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting somewhere, Victor. They've talked about the ambitions, and a lot of people come with so much visions. So, talking about the issue of corruption, how do you feel generally corruption can be tackled in the country? Because it's not just about you, it's about Nigerians voting for who they want, voting for the right person. So how do you think corruption can be solved?
Okay, thank you so much. Corruption in Nigeria today, like I will tell you, is a system that has been set up by these same old incompetent politicians. So when we get them off from power, we'll be able to solve corruption up to about 50%. Then I am going to introduce a digital platform.
So you feel that youths are not also corrupt?
The youth that you see that is engaged in corrupt practices are being masterminded or planned or sent or sponsored by these old incompetent politicians. You just mentioned one of the old incompetent politicians that have shown interest to run for the office of the president, right? Some days ago, his spokesperson was asked, how did your candidate make his money from just being a financial secretary of a company? Now you are one of the richest men in Africa, right? That is corruption. If you take such people away from the system, Nigerians will have a lot of money to take care of themselves. I will tell you the truth as we speak today. There are many of these old incompetent politicians that are richer than their states.
Now,
right?
Victor, let's
One
not
of the
get into talks of, let's stay on the issue. We're not discussing
no, she's
people, we're not
asking me a
discussing people
question.
here. My question to
Yes,
you is
we are
this:
not.
are you going to be seeking for competent people to work for you in your government, or just, or the quality anyone needs is just be a young person? Because you've been using the
No,
word
sir.
old, incompetent
Incompetent politician.
generation,
Yes, sir.
and you
Yes,
said
sir.
the corruption amongst the youths is masterminded. If you look at the
Sure.
moral decadence in society, if you look
Sure.
at advanced free fraud, you look at cyber fraud,
Sure.
I don't think they're
Yeah.
godfathers behind that, but that's an issue for another day.
No,
Are
see,
you interested in competence or just young people?
sir, you already know what I stand for. I stand for competence, right? But the truth about it, if you have competence and you don't have the will to legislate and set Nigerians free from poverty and corruption, it's still going to have a problem. If we still have these same old incompetent politicians in the system, no matter how competent you are, you cannot deliver a developed Nigeria, right? So what I'm saying, our first problem, you and I know that you live in this country, I live in this country. We know our problem. Forget about it whether we are on air. Let's start calling out our problem just the way it is. If an aspirant can have 2 billion van in his compound as a day to an election, are you going to call that person competent? No. What we are saying here is that for me, my candidacy, we stand for competency. But because he asks, how are we going to tackle corruption? Corruption is caused by two systems: the human system and the digital system. But like what I'm saying, I am going to introduce a digital system that will bring corruption to the barest minimum. What I mean as of today is that anything you have to pay to government will definitely pass through a digital system. So we know what Nigeria is making every day, every hour, every minute. There are bigger companies, bigger countries that can give you statistics of what they make per hour, right? But
Okay,
we don't have
Victor,
that in
sorry,
this
because
country.
of time, we won't be able to continue with this conversation. Thank you very much, Victor Ani-laju. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us on the conversation.
Thank you for having me. More time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Victor had so many things to say,
Thank you.
talking about the crop of leaders that we have. But we'll have a quick break.